What's up guys, welcome back to Python for Absolute Beginners in English playlist. In today's video we are going to discuss and look into the time module. We are going to discover some of its functions. So let's get started. This was a video that I made previously about rock, papers and scissors, and if you haven't watched this video, please access the Python for Absolute Beginners playlist. And for the people who have watched this video, I hope you have commented down your answer in that video. So let's get started. I'm going to make a new Python file right here, and this time module right here, what is this time module and why should we use it? I mean, our life was going so smoothly, why do we need to learn this module? Guys, time module, in many cases you will need it, and this is a really good module. And as you can see guys, that I have to name my Python file right here somehow, so I cannot name it as time because it may clash with the module name. And guys, believe me, I have had many experiences in which when I named my Python file the same name as a module, I had to regret it so much. So I'm going to name this Python file as time underscore module. And after that, now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to write import time. I'm going to write import time. And after that, we have basically imported time. So now I'll run a while loop right here. I'll write while I is less than 45. I'll print Ansh is a good boy, but my program doesn't know what size, so I'm going to write I is equal to 0. And after that I'm going to increment I, so I'm going to write I plus equal to 1. And after that, what I'm going to do is that now I'm going to run a for loop. So I'll write for I in range 45, print Ansh is a good boy. And after that, as you can see, if I run this program right here, it will print Ansh is a good boy 45 times, right? So it has printed Ansh is a good boy 45 times, and basically it has printed it 90 times because it has printed it in this loop, and after that it has printed the Ansh is good boy in this loop. So as you can see guys, that we have used a while loop and for loop. But what if you wanted to check the execution of time of these loops? So guys, what is an execution time? An execution time is the time in which the loop terminates. So when the program will go into this loop, how much time does it take until it terminates? So for that, we'll make the use of time function. Now there's a function in time that is known as time.time. So I'm going to write here time.time. And what does this function do is that it does not take any parameters, and also it stores the milliseconds, that is the seconds. It stores some random seconds at that point of time. So I'm going to write initial is equal to time.time, and after that, once our program goes on, the time.time will increase its milliseconds or seconds accordingly, and in that manner we can log the amount of time. So if I print the initial right here, print initial, and if I run this program right here, as you can see, it will print the initial seconds from which the time.time module starts. So with the help of this, we can log the execution time. So now for example, if I comment this print statement, and after that I will write print, and I'll make the use of f string, so I'll write f, and after that I'll write the loop execution time. I'll write the while loop execution time because this is for the while loop. The while loop execution time is, and after that I'll have to put a bracket right here. So I'll put a bracket and I'll write time.time minus initial. And I don't know why is it giving me an error, minus initial. I wrote initial, I'm really sorry, I had to write initial. And after this, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to write it as initial. So now it should not give me an error. And the same thing I'll do it for the for loop. So I'll write the for loop execution time is time.time minus initial 2, because we will have to make another variable for the for loop, because we cannot compare the for loop variable with the variable that started for the while loop. So I'll write the for loop execution time is this, and I will write it right here, initial 2 is equal to time.time. And if I run this program right here, as you can see, our program tells us that the for loop execution is these many milliseconds, that is 0.000997, and for the while loop the execution time is 0.0. So guys, this is really close, and this can also be used as a proof that why the for loop and while loop boil down to the same machine level code. So as you can see guys, that we saw that the while loop goes for 0 seconds and the for loop goes for 0.000997 0.0099 seconds. So it's a really small difference that is left between them, but you cannot actually decide that which is better. That is, you cannot make a conclusion that the for loop is better than the while loop because it executes in less time, or that the while loop is greater than the for loop because it takes less execution time. No guys, it all depends on your computer as well, because in some cases, for example, if your PC is too hot, if the temperature is too high, or if you are running some programs in your computer, some heavy programs, the computer may slow down or your laptop may slow down, and accordingly the while loop and for loop execution time may differ. So you cannot make a conclusion about it that the for loop is greater than the while loop or the while loop is greater than the for loop. Both are equal, and this can be used as a proof that both of the loops boil down to the same machine level code. So it doesn't matter which one you use, but the situation in which you use them, that matters. So you really have to make that sure that that you use these loops effectively. And this was how we can use the time function most importantly, so we can track the amount of time in which our program works. Then guys, there's a better method to get the execution time of a program. For example, if you are at in a professional environment, and if your boss says that please give me the time in which this program executes, then what you can do is that basically you would have to run this program couple of times, for example 1,000 times or hundreds of times, and then you have to take the average of those times. And after that, whatever thing you get, whatever number you get, is your average time of your program. Because guys, your program will be commercially used and there will be many people who will be using your program, and it is really important that you take the average of all of the execution times. For example, if a person is running, for example 5 kilometers, and if he stumbles down at 3 kilometers, and if he's not able to finish the race, then what you can do is that you can make him run thousands and hundreds of times. And even if he doesn't finish the race, you can make an estimate and you can make an approximation by averaging all of his races distance. And after that, you can make a conclusion that how much is the time in which he can finish the race, and how much distance has he covered. So that's how we can use the time function. And after that guys, we have another function in time known as the ask time, then local time, then inside that we can use the time dot time. So guys, if you want to discover more about the time functions, you can go on to Google, and after that you can search there about time module functions. So that's a way in which you can get time functions. And what I'm going to do right now is that I'm going to comment this out, and after that I'm going to show you another function. So I'm going to write time dot ask time, and after that I'll write time dot local, and inside that I'm going to write time dot time. So what this will do is that it will give us the time right now, the current time at your place. So I'm going to store it in a variable. I'll write local time, and after that I'm going to print this. So I'm going to print local time. So basically what time dot time does is that it gives you the second at that place, and after that the time dot local time, it converts it into date and what is the day, and after that it converts it into the 24-hour clock format. And what task time does is that it converts the tuple that's provided by the local time function into a simpler format. So if I run this program right here, as you can see, it will print that it is 6th December, it is a Sunday, and I am currently recording this video at 2 o'clock and 6 minutes and 50 seconds. And now what I'm going to do is that this is really important guys. Now in your professional career, you will have to make the program sleep, and this is a really good function given by the time module. So I'll make this program run again. That is, I'll uncomment this. I'll uncomment this bit, and after that what I'm going to do is that I'm going to make the use of sleep function. Now guys, what is sleep function? For example, if you want the program to sleep for 3 seconds or 4 seconds, and you want the program to load itself and then show it, so what you can do is that you can make the use of sleep function. Now I'm going to write time dot sleep, and after that you need to write the seconds you want the program to sleep. So for example, if I write 2 seconds, and if I run this program right here, as you can see, when this for while loop will run, it will print Ansh is a good boy, and after that the program will sleep for some time, and it will print Ansh is a good boy after 2 seconds. So if I run this program right here, as you can see, it has printed Ansh is a good boy after 2 seconds, and it will print it in at an interval of 2 seconds. So I hope guys that you understood how we can use the sleep function. and this is a really important function, guys. You'll be using this function in your exercises and programs after this video as well. So I'm not trying to tell you that you should memorize these functions, because guys, coding is never about memorizing. Python is never about memorizing. Google, Amazon, and big companies, they don't want people who memorize stuff. They want people who can get a laptop and use the internet in order to make a successful and a viable product. And those are the people who really make these successful companies, and they really make a profit in these companies. So guys, I'm not trying to tell you that you need to remember these functions. And even I don't know, to be honest, even I didn't remember about this sleep function. I just looked it at Google right now, and after that I picked out the main functions that I wanted to tell you about. So what you can do, guys, is that you can write on Google time module functions in Python, and after that I'm just going to click on the first website right here, and this is the official documentation. So you can get a look on the main functions and some of the functions in Python, basically all of the functions in Python. So we have got clock get time, that gives you the time of the specified clock, and after that you got clock set time, that sets the time. So these are some of the functions that you can use, and you can check it out yourself. And guys, I'm not trying to tell you that you need to memorize it, never. I will never tell you that you need to memorize this, and you should not memorize this, because it's common sense that no one can memorize these functions. Not even a machine can learn this, and we are humans, so we can't learn it as well as the machines do. So I hope that you guys understood today's video, and more and more videos will be coming in this Python for Absolute Beginners playlist. I hope you guys are watching this playlist, and most importantly, you are enjoying all the videos, and I hope you're learning a lot from them. So thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you're safe, and I'll see you next time.